dealing with debt? Should you put everything you buy on a credit card? Joining us now for more on that is Ted Rossman, the senior industry analyst at Bankrate.com and creditcards.com. Hello, Ted, and good to have you here.
Hi, Angie. It's good to be here.
What is your suggestion for how much someone should use their credit card?
Credit cards offer a lot of advantages over other payment methods, namely better rewards and better buyer protections. Everything from fraud protection to extended warranties, purchase protection, and more. The one big drawback is interest. The average credit card charges over 20%. So my advice would be, as long as you can pay in full and avoid interest, and as long as you're not overspending, a credit card is typically the best way to go.
Is it ever a good idea to use a credit card every time you spend? The old rule of thumb was to avoid putting such items as groceries and pizza on plastic. We've come a long way.
The big fork in the road here really is whether or not you carry debt from month to month. About half of cardholders pay in full, and about half finance those balances with interest. If you're among the transactors, those who use the card and pay it off right away before interest hits, then I think you should put everything on the credit card. In fact, I looked at some Bureau of Labor Statistics data and estimated that the average household could probably put about $3,000 a month on their credit cards with their typical expenses. So I'm not talking about like paying your mortgage or car loan. I'm just looking at things that could reasonably go on a credit card. And if you got even just a simple 2% return on all of that spending, that would add up to more than $600 a year in rewards. So I really do think that credit cards can be a great inflation buster. And you could even do better, by the way. There are certain credit cards that give 5 or even 6% cash back on certain categories, or elevated payouts of airline miles and hotel points. The big distinction, though, is you have to pay in full to make it worth it. You don't want to pay 20% interest to get 2 or 3 or even 5 or 6% in rewards.
What are your tips for making the most out of that card without piling up debt?
From a debt standpoint, if you have credit card debt, no shame, about half of cardholders do, you have to put your interest rate first. I think the best way to do that is with a 0% balance transfer card. That will let you pause the interest clock for up to 21 months. Aside from that, if you're debt-free, credit cards are great, provided that you don't fall into debt and that you don't overspend. So I would say maybe start small. If you're young and just starting out, maybe put some small necessary expenses on the card. Get in the habit of paying it off. You'll build credit. You'll get rewards. Over time, I think you should get to a point that you're putting all of your regular expenses on a credit card and paying them off right away. I mentioned that example where I think the average household could probably get at least $600 a year in cash back. Well, some people can get a lot more than that. And you can really get aggressive about signing up for cards that emphasize your key spending categories. I know I have one that gives 6% cash back on groceries. I think that's a great inflation buster. I'll probably get more than $2,000 this year in cashback rewards. So some people really treat this like a game and maximize every dollar, and it can really add up.
Thank you for your tips today, Ted.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Go to businessfirstam.com for where to see our show on TV.